Hello and welcome to another video. So today I thought I would do a little bit of a review of MyWhoosh. So if you've been watching the channel for a while, you'll have seen that I've got quite a lot of Zwift videos in the past. I've done Zwift racing videos and I've done a series on the Zwift Academy as well, which is really good. And I think Zwift is excellent. I think some of the features that they offer, they were kind of the first people ever to do it. The software works fairly well. There's a big community out there using it, and there's a lot of extras you can put on there, like you can use Source for Zwift and the Zwift Power, which is obviously now part of the company, but that's all really good stuff. However, the price went up this year, as we all know, and we're all looking to save a bit of money at the moment, and for me, I decided this winter I was going to try and use MyWhoosh. So I've been using it for about a month. If you're not aware, it is completely free of charge. I'm not entirely sure why. I don't know if they're just kind of skimming the market, trying to get all the market share, and then they're going to hike the price up. Or a friend told me that one of their plans is to get some in-game advertisements, so billboards and sort of like non-intrusive advertisements into the game, which will help to pay to fund it so they can keep it as a free game. Regardless, it is free at the moment, and as I said, I've been using it for about a month, and I thought I'd just talk about my experience with it, what I like, what I don't like, what improvements I think they need to make, and if I'm going to carry on using it or if I'm going to go back to Zwift. So I'll go over a few things in this video, and I'll put chapters in down below as I always do, so you can just skip to the bits that are interesting for you. So I'm going to start by talking about my setup, and the reason I'm doing this is because I've got a friend who's running, it's either an iPad or an Apple TV, and he has a lot of problems with MyWhoosh, and it does crash a lot for him. So to put this video into sort of like context and like how I've come to my opinion, I thought I'd talk about the system that I'm using. So I'm actually using a upper mid-range gaming PC. As you can see, I'm running Windows 11, kind of regardless. But the important thing here is like the CPU is decent. It's it's an AMD Ryzen 5 7600. I've got 32 gigs of RAM. And I am running a GeForce RTX 4070 graphics card. It's the original 4070 with 12 gigabytes of RAM. But what I'm trying to get across here, because I know most people won't care, is that this is actually a pretty good system. So it's not going to struggle to run something like MyWhoosh, you would hope at least. So the only thing that I do suffer from, and I'll put it on screen now, is when I close the app, sometimes I get this message because it crashes. Not really a problem. It only ever happens on close. I don't know what the reason for this is, but yeah, it's a bit annoying. You just have to close that window every time. So the other thing to mention is that MyWhoosh is actually pretty big. So it's just over 3 gig for the app, and there's 25 gig of data as well, which is all the maps, which it seems to want to download and keep on your local system. This is fine on a computer like this, but if you're using an iPhone, yes, the amount of data that it downloads is less. It's still quite a lot, and you have to download that if you want to use MyWhoosh at all on your iPhone. So sometimes like I might be out somewhere and I want to just have a look through the workouts, maybe do a little planning for later. You can't do that unless you've downloaded all of the content, which is really annoying. So that's just something to bear in mind if you are going to use MyWhoosh. Okay, so that's enough of the boring techie stuff. So let's just actually look at the gameplay now. So I've got some footage here of a workout that I did earlier today, and I think it's actually visually really quite stunning. I really I enjoy riding in the worlds. I actually think it looks better than Zwift. So yeah, I think the graphics are good. I think the scenery is interesting. I think there are a good selection of maps to choose from. This one is Belgium, and it does have like the cobbled sections, and there are other maps as well where you might be going through the jungle and there'll be 4x4s on safari at the side of the road and stuff, which is just really cool. So you get your usual chat just like Zwift, which is a chat box in the bottom right hand corner. You also have reactions like this, so you can wave, say your toast. It's very much copied off Zwift. You can dab, which I think I actually do. There you go, that's the dab. So there's fun elements still baked into it like that. General sort of on-screen display, just like with Zwift. You've got the power that you're putting out, the interval time. We'll talk about that a little bit more in the workout section. Heart rate obviously is on there, cadence. Nice graphics at the top. The colours that you can see, there's grey on the left, middle, and on the right there's a colour that indicates what your next effort's going to be, what zone it's going to be in. Something else I wanted to point out was the elevation graph. So if I just skip to a bit with a climb, and as you can see here, we have a bit of elevation, and it's really clear to see what is coming up. Whereas on Zwift, I've always found it really difficult to read their elevation graph. It has a tiny arrow inside a little circle, and it can be moving to the left or moving to the right. Whereas this, it's always moving in the same direction. You can really clearly see if there's going to be a steep climb coming up or a descent, which is just really nice. I think that's a feature that's way better than Zwift. And then obviously you've got your map on the left hand side, sort of GTA style again, really simple, nothing much to say there. And stats that you just expect to be there, how many calories you've burned, how many kilometers you've ridden, how much climbing you've done, just all the normal stuff really that you'd expect from something like this. So I think that's enough of the graphics and a bit of a graphics overview. And now I'd like to launch the app and just show you what it's like to use the app itself. Okay, so I've launched the app, and the first thing that happens is you get to this profile selection screen. So this is where you can have multiple profiles. So if you've got more than one person in your house, or you have a friend that wants to come over and use it or something, you can have a profile each, which is really useful. Gives you some stats as to what you've done so far on MyWhoosh. But let's click into me here. And the first thing that happens is you get taken to device connection screen. So this is good and bad. So you have to do this every time, which sounds like a bit of a chore, but it isn't actually, because as you can see, my bike's on behind me, and it has, it's remembered it and connected to it straight away. However, I have in my hand got my Bluetooth strap, and it is on, it's flashing, but it hasn't remembered it. So this is the first kind of bug and annoyance in MyWhoosh. Every time I have to repair the Bluetooth strap, which is just a minor annoyance, but it's still really, really annoying anyway. So yeah, when you're paired with everything that you want to pair with, you click ride and you're straight into the interface. So the first thing I thought I'd show you is the calendar, because I think it's really cool. You can do plans. It's got plans built into it, which are essentially just a collection of workouts, and you can choose how you want to do them for. And I did actually put them into here. I did put a plan on. I never actually did it because the weather was so nice in October. I didn't need to ride indoors that much. But I put a plan on, and it's just really nice. It like populates it all, tells you what you've got coming up each day. It's just a really nice interface. You get a little tick if you actually did complete it. And I just think that's a nice feature, and it would be nice if that extended a little bit outside of this app, and there was the companion app also had the calendar on, and you could sort of move workouts about and input sort of on bike workouts as well if you actually did them in real life. So maybe that's coming in the future. But as sort of like a part one, step one, this is really nice, and it's just way better than what Zwift offer after years and years of development already. So I think that's really cool. But what I'll do now is move on to the thing that I use MyWhoosh for the most, and that's the workouts. So you click workouts, and there are loads of categories to pick from. There are loads of workouts, actually too much choice, but that's the same in Zwift as well. So let's just pick one category at random. Let's just pick beginner. Just have a look through the workouts and pick one at random. Let's have a look at Into the Red. So as you can see, it's really familiar. You've got the build-up of the workout here on the left, and a graph showing you what it is. One thing that's really, really cool though is, say I like this workout, but 44 minutes, I actually have a bit more time. So you can actually really easily edit them. So you just click the copy button here, and now I can edit the workout. So maybe I want to add an extra zone 6 section for some reason in here, and then I just decide to have a bit of a long period of rest after that, and now it's taken it up to 54 minutes. Give it a title, Mike's Hell Workout, click done, and now you have this workout, and you can straight away click load workout, pick the world that you want to ride it in, and go and do it, which is just really cool. It's so quick to be able to edit a workout to do what you want to do, rather than just be stuck with either their workouts or editing your own from scratch, which always took quite a long time. So it's just really nice that it gives you that flexibility to be able to modify the workouts. I think that's a really cool feature. Very impressed with that. So here's some video of me actually in a workout. It's the same clips that I was showing earlier. Let's talk about the workout features. So you've got the stars at the top left, just like Zwift. There's a bit of a theme happening here. How they got away with copying so much, I'll never know. Maybe they haven't got away with it yet. You have the graph along the bottom. Again, it's really clear to see what's coming up and what's gone previously. At the bottom, you've got your target watts and how long this interval is going to be for. At the top, you've got interval time, so you've got how long is elapsed and how long's left. It's quite nice to have both of those next to each other. Your heart rate, your cadence, usual stuff, the power that you're doing at the moment, and the average power that you've put out over this section. Just like Zwift, you get text on the screen as well. So I think there is some that's about to come on the screen, and it tells you what you should do during different parts of the workout, which have been added by the people who created the workouts. So I think this one's going to tell me to do these efforts out of the saddle, if I remember correctly. Yeah, perform the 15-second surges out of the saddle. And then the second 4, I think, were in the saddle. So you get some additional instructions there, which is really cool. Erg mode works really well. Erg mode is not suitable at all for a 15-second interval, but you can see here it actually handled it pretty well. Yeah, I mean, within 15 seconds, well, within the first sort of 5 seconds, it was up and hitting the target power and then held till the end of that interval, which I think is pretty impressive. Whether that's anything to do with MyWhoosh, I'm not sure, or maybe it's just using the trainer I'm using, but the Wattbike is not renowned for being very good at erg mode anyway, so it's working really well. One criticism that I do have is there's no chart showing you what's coming up. So you've got the graph along the bottom, but there's nothing telling you what each of these intervals are going to be. So the one that I'm doing at the moment is a 180 target. It would have been nice to have known that before I went into it. It's just something that I miss from Zwift that MyWhoosh doesn't do, or I don't know how to make it do it, but all these things I'm complaining about, saying it doesn't do, this is still quite new. So I'm quite confident that it's gonna come eventually. They are building it up, but these are the problems that I'm seeing at the moment. So the other sort of workout you can do is the live coaching workouts. Now these are available on demand. There are quite a lot to do on demand, and that's really cool, but the live is even better. So if I click through onto the live coaching, now there aren't actually that many of these, maybe one a day, maybe a couple a day at the very most. Some days there are none, and the calendar is a little bit inconsistent. So whereas stuff is coming up in the future on some of the dates, today and tomorrow, they might not be up there now, but if I log on tomorrow, there might be more up for later. So it seems to get added quite late. But these are essentially group workouts, and they are rubber banded as well, which is really cool. So you stick together with your group as long as you complete the workout correctly. But they're group workouts with a live coach talking to you at the same time. So I joined a workout just to grab some footage so you can see the layout. It's the same as the normal workout mode, but you also get a live stream on the left-hand side. And these are coaches or pro riders, and they will talk you through the workout, explain why you're doing it, what improvements you're going to see by doing this workout. And they will also call out names. It is genuinely live. So they'll be like, Mike, that's really good effort there. And those sort of things, just encouraging stuff. I don't know if they can even see what efforts you're doing, but it's still really cool that they are actually there and shouting out names. And to get that for free is just insane. It's, really impressive. So now let's just talk a little bit about group rides. So there are events, and some of these are races, of which I've not done one yet. A lot of these are also group rides. So for example, this Ride Social. However, herein lies MyWhoosh's biggest problem, and it's one that is fixable by you watching this video actually. So this group ride starts in 23 minutes. There are 0 people currently signed up to this ride, and that's what they're all like. They're all pretty empty. Here's some footage of me observing a ride. There are single figure number of people on this ride. There are no barriers to keep people together like in Zwift, so everyone is spread out, the few people that are there, and it's not very good. And I don't think MyWhoosh yet, until it's got a bigger user base, is really a good place to do group rides. And I'm extending that to racing. So when you're racing, it's important to have a lot of people racing, otherwise what's the point? And if there's just not many people on here, let's have a look at a race event. So there's a time trial there that's got 1 person signed up to it in 22 minutes. Okay, bad example because it's a time trial. A crit race, 3 people are signed up to that, and it starts in 37 minutes. It's just not good enough. I don't know how they can fix that problem. They're kind of pushing the marketing a little bit, although I feel like a lot of people haven't heard of it still. But this is MyWhoosh's biggest problem. They need to sort out the participation, get more people riding it, and then it will be better. The other thing I will add about doing non-workout stuff on MyWhoosh, if you have a bike like mine, the Watt bike, or I assume if you're using a Zwift cog, you're going to have this same problem. There's no gear indicator in the UI, which is just really annoying because you kind of don't have that feedback. When you're using digital gears, you press the button and it's not like changing gear where you get that instant feedback and you know that something's happened. It's really useful to have a figure on screen to know what gear you're in. So that would be a nice improvement as well if they could just add the gear indicator into the UI. Okay, so that was my really quick roundup of MyWhoosh, how I found using it so far, what I like, what I dislike, and what improvements I'd like to see in the future. If you've got any questions about it, please leave them in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, and I'll catch you in the next one.